Hey everybody, welcome to Lunch Break. I'm here. My name is Tim Nugent. I am the Experiences Pastor here at Northwest. And this, if you go to Northwest, if you've ever seen Northwest, you know who this is.
Yeah.
This is Pastor Jay Rice. So,
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Hope you're having a good day.
yeah. So what we're doing, what Lunch Break is it's going to happen during December, especially during our 25 Days of Hope. And the whole point is to talk about 25 Days of Hope, but also to talk about other things, because there's so much more going on and to come here at Northwest. And so we just want really to hang out with you guys and be able to hang out with Jay and just kind of talk and figure some things out. So what we want to talk about first is 25 Days of Hope.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Love it.
that's a huge thing for us. It's new this year, first time we've ever done it.
So,
And so I would love to know, and I'm sure they would love to know, if you haven't been in our services or seen the Northwest online, what is it?
yeah. So that's a good. Oh, okay. I guess that's a pretty good question to start with, Tim. Okay, so 25 Days of Hope. Basically, well, I'll give you a little bit of the backstory on it, so maybe that'll help us understand what it is. So, back in like September, I think. We were sitting over in our office, and if you've not been to our offices, it's a house it's an old farmhouse kind of at the back of our property that we've tried to convert, and we've got like this gathering space that we created. We were sitting around on the couches just kind of talking about, okay, Christmas is coming. What are we going to do this year? Like, you know, we've done Christmas VBS in the past, and we talked about that. You know, from time to time, do we bring that back? What does that look like? You know, with COVID, everything's squirrely. Like, what do we do there? And we just kind of kick some stuff around, and we're like, you know what? This year, more than any other year, and you know, it's not super different than other years, but this year, because of COVID in particular, and because of everything else swirling in our world right now, people needed some encouragement.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about it, we're like, okay, well, what can we do to bring encouragement? I mean, like, we could do an event, we could do some other stuff or whatever. And I don't know if it was you or if it was Jaron.
I feel like it was just like
it was
kind of like combination.
It was almost kind of like this organic thing where it was like, you know what would be really encouraging? You know, you hear those stories of like people leaving huge tips for their server, or some old guy randomly passing out, you know, gift cards in Walmart or whatever. And man, that makes the news because people are like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And we thought about, well, what if a church did that? Well, what if we did that? And so then that became kind of like the genesis of it, where we said, hey, the whole point is to encourage people in our community and to let them know that people still care.
Yeah.
Like we haven't gone off the cliff as a culture, as a community, as people. There are good people still in the world. And for us as Christians, like it's more than just good people in the world. God loves people, and God is still active. And I can't think of a better way than for somebody to get a totally unsolicited random gift from a church. And so that's kind of the whole point. That's what it is. It's just a chance for us to spread some hope and encouragement in our town.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great. I mean, I think I'm really stoked about it. I think it's been great so far. I know there's so much more to come. We're only in day 4 now.
Yeah, something like
and
that.
So we have 21 days to go, which is awesome.
21 days of hope.
21
we should
days
get shirts,
left.
like
yes,
21 days of
can
hope shirts. Like,
can we
yeah. That's what we'll do. We'll tape numbers to your shirt every day.
Yes,
Tim.
every single
It'll be
time.
like that countdown. I love it.
Yes,
That'd be awesome.
I love it.
I think you got something on your
I
shirt
do.
too.
Look at
like,
that.
Yeah,
I think that's a coffee stain. I don't know. I was not prepared for this. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
You can't see it anyway, so it doesn't
it's
matter.
so
Hey.
far away, like nobody cares.
So it's really just Jay, only bringing him the best. But anyway, yeah. So now we know that's what 25 Days of Hope is.
Right.
So, and we know why, which
Right.
the idea is to bring hope through random acts
totally
of
random.
kindness,
Yeah, 100%.
to people that we believe while we're out there passing out these envelopes and doing all these things that God is leading us to give this to these people, which we've already had some really awesome stories. So if you go to 25dh.online right now, you can actually go to the stories section on that page. And I think there's three stories, 3 stories so far.
Maybe you should have gotten more coffee.
Yeah,
Tim.
I think I'm struggling. But yes.
Yeah.
So 3 stories already, which is pretty great. So if you go through, listen to those, and also still, you can be a part as well. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But we know what it is. We know why we're doing it.
Right.
So we know it's random acts of kindness,
Right.
and we know we can see that staff members are doing it right now, and we know that elders are
Yep.
doing it.
Exactly.
Is it just for them?
Great question. So, okay, so we put together these cards. Actually, technically, Tim put together these cards. They're phenomenal, by the way. Just a little shout out to you. But we put together these cards, and we didn't just make 25 of them. I think we did like 100.
Yes.
I think we made 100 of
Yeah.
them. Because the goal is not just for it to be staff and elders. It's not like this is some, okay, if you're not on staff, you can't you can't bring encouragement to anybody in Ackworth unless you're on staff or in leadership in North. Like,
Yes.
no, it's not that. And although people have asked, they're like,
Yeah.
hey, can I share hope with people even though I'm not on staff? Yes.
Yes.
You can. Yes, you can.
Yes.
So anyway, so we printed like 100 of these cards, and we got 100 T-shirts, because the hope is that other people will jump in, and they'll say, hey, you know what? I can't do $100, or the church doesn't have extra money to give. Like, I mean, we kind of drained the bank to do this, to pull this one off this year anyway. To be frank, but like, maybe you've got an old, Kohl's card from like your birthday that has $25 on it or something, or like you say, hey, you know what? Well, I'd love to. Chick-fil-A is my favorite place. I could give a $10 Chick-fil-A card, or it could just be a note. Like, it doesn't have to be money. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to get people to understand it. It doesn't have to be money. It can be a note of encouragement, or hey, I prayed for you today, and you stick it in the inside of the card, right? And so our hope is that we'll give away all 100 of these.
Yeah.
So that means 75 other people will jump in and say, I want to spread some hope this year.
Exactly.
Like, I want to participate. Like, my family can do that. My kids would love that. Like, I got my daughter in on, or all my whole family, but I made my middle daughter, Hannah, actually be the one to pass the card.
Day one, too.
Day one.
So if you go to the website, check out Day One.
What's that website?
It's 25dh.online.
Good call. All right. So, you gotta get that
I
in
know.
there.
You
Like,
put me on the spot.
And you almost forgot.
I
It's
know.
okay.
I
That's all
know.
right. But like, that again, that's the whole point, is that families, kids. My daughter was so jazzed to do it. She rehearsed it in the car for like 5 minutes before we went in there. And then she fumbled her words. And then she came back to the car and she was frustrated and said, can I go back and do it again? Because that's not what I meant to say. And so it was this great teaching moment. But man.
Well, actually, can we stop right there?
Yeah.
That's a really good point. She prepared.
She did.
Fumbled her words.
Yep.
And got a little nervous.
Yep.
And so I think that actually brings up a really good point.
Yeah.
Of it's okay to be a little nervous while doing this.
Yes.
It is very much out of our comfort zone, especially in our society and our culture.
Oh, man.
It is very difficult to just go up to some random person and do something
Hey,
like
total
this.
stranger.
Here you go. And also, even for the recipient, it can be a little weird. Like, what are you handing me? Is it a envelope of COVID? I don't know. But
I'll tell you,
they're not. They're not, by the way.
The girl at Ty Basil, who we know, like, we know everybody over, like, my kids, they do dance with some of the children of some of the workers at Ty Basil. We just know that the people over there. And when Hannah handed the card, the girl was like, thank you.
Yes.
And, like, she didn't know what to do with it. And
Yes.
we watched her go over and open it, and she got the smile on her face because, wow, it was amazing. It was a shock.
Yeah.
But it was, for her, it was odd too.
Exactly.
'Cause
And
it's
so,
just not normal.
Well, and I think that's something, so while you're doing this, while you go out there, because you are going to go to 25dh.online and sign up to be on the team to do
it
this,
today.
obviously. So when you do that, there are some videos that there's a video that kind of shows you kind of what to do and what to expect. But that is a good thing to think about as well, is that we might not see the fruit of this.
Yeah.
We might not see the seed that is planted. So when you go out and do this and you give it to somebody, if they're not just like overly excited and give you a hug, and they might not even open it in front of you. They might take it home. You might never see what actually occurs. Just know that God is calling us to do that, and he's calling you to give that to that person. And so he's in control. And so your happiness and excitement, be in that no matter what, because that's
and that's kind of the thing. We talk a lot about how God knows everything and God is in control of everything, and we're supposed to walk in step with the Holy Spirit, and we're supposed to listen to God's guidance, and we talk about all those things. But let's be honest. I mean, we control or try to control pretty much everything, don't we?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, you and I don't.
I have no
Tim,
idea what's
right?
going on.
Not us personally,
don't do that
but
at
everybody
all.
else.
Yes.
Right? But this is one of those things that's totally out of our control, and it's a
Yeah.
huge step of faith for us, I think, this year. And it's gonna be, it's so powerful to take that and to sit there and pray, which is what my family did. We prayed for a couple of hours, and we drove around and we went to Costco and we went to all the places that we kind of normally go, and Ty Basil, we were just like, we felt like as a family we were led there. Yeah. And we don't know the end result. We don't know what's going to happen out of that.
No.
It's not our job to know.
Yeah.
God does, though.
It's true.
And that's the whole, or at least part of the point for us on our side, you know, is that we take that step and then we actually trust and we let go of the control and we say, okay, God, you told me to give it to that person. You know better than me.
Yeah.
Here we go. And
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's very true. And also, if you are in the Ackworth area, Thai Basil is ridiculous.
Oh,
Their
dude.
food is so good.
Oh,
But
dude.
anyway,
If
not to
you-
put a plug in there.
oh, no plug 'em all
Free
day
lunch.
long. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I
I'm joking.
Thai
I'm joking.
Basil staff, if you're
Yes,
watching.
if you're watching this right now.
25 days. No,
But also, again, one thing to do is follow this 25 days through our Facebook page, which you're obviously on. You're seeing
Right.
this right now, but on 25dh.online, because like we said, every day we're going to be posting stories, and probably multiple stories a day as we have people come in, because on the envelope it actually asks the person to share their experience on our website, to share their story. So we're hoping, one of our hopes is to actually have some of those stories while we give these things out, to have somebody go and share their story of receiving the envelope as well. So that would
Totally.
be awesome.
Oh,
so
man, I'm looking
I'm
forward
kind
to
of
that.
waiting for that
Yeah,
one.
me
I'm pretty
too.
excited about that.
Me too.
But okay, so we've talked about what it is. We talked about why we're doing it.
Yep.
We talked about how anybody can be involved. All they have to do is go join the team at 25dh.online. And
Plug in there.
and we've
Keep
I
plugging.
know every single time. And so we've already talked about kind of, we've touched on how to do it.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that's where we can go next is, okay, so I've joined the team. I've gotten the shirt. I've got my envelope.
Yep.
What's my next step?
Okay. So yeah. So now that once you get to that point, you got your envelope and you got your shirt, and you signed up at 25dh.online. Sorry, I had to get.
If you didn't hear that already,
yeah, it's 25dh.online. So then the goal is to just pray. That's the very next step, is to pray and just say, okay, God, who is it? Like, Lord, show me somebody, show me a family, show me a single mom, show me somebody random. Maybe it's somebody you already know, and you say, and God lays that person in particular, or that family or that child, because it can be kids too.
Yeah.
Kids can give to kids, like there's just lots of ways, and just trust that God will guide you, and it really comes back to that prayer, because that's our scripture, is that the hope may overflow by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
This year, that's what we want. That's what the whole theme is for 25 Days of Hope, is that hope will overflow through the power of the Holy Spirit. So we're going to trust that God, through the Holy Spirit, will guide us. And so that's the most important part, beyond signing up and getting your card and getting your T-shirt and picking the day and saying, okay, we're going to do it on this Saturday or this Tuesday or whatever, my family and I. It's spending that time in prayer and saying, all right, God, who?
Yeah.
Open my eyes to see. That's what we prayed for, is, oh, God, open my eyes to see somebody that I normally wouldn't see.
Yeah.
Because we're so busy, especially this time of year. Everybody's got places to go and things to do and people to see and stuff. And we can miss the people who are in need around us because we're just focused on other things. We're not bad people. We just get so focused on our tasks that we don't see. And so we just pray, God, give me eyes to see.
Yeah.
And he does it. I mean, I've needed more cards in my car.
Well, actually, that actually brings up one more thing, is that it doesn't have to be one card. So when you sign up, when we email you back, if you need more than one card, I had a lady ask for 5 cards yesterday.
Awesome.
And
That's
so
so great.
Grab as many as you need. If we have to reorder these, that I see that as a success.
Oh man.
So we would love to run out, because that means that we can
more
keep
people.
this thing going,
Yeah.
and it means that as a church and as Christians, we are doing the purpose of 25 Days of Hope.
Yep.
And so that's really great. And
100%.
so Next question would be this: what happens after the 25 days?
So yeah, great question. So we got several things that are kind of connected to 25 Days of Hope, but then also some stuff that we're looking at next year. In 2021. On Christmas Eve, we're going to take up an offering for our food pantry, and we're calling it our gift of hope. We're asking people to think about and pray about, okay, what can they do above and beyond their normal giving, their normal tithe, to fund our food pantry in 2021, because that brings so much hope to the people in our community. I can't even articulate and explain how much hope that ministry in particular brings right here in our own backyard. So we're asking people to give a gift of hope. So that's kind of connected. That's a bit of a next step. In early January of 2021, we're going to send hope. So that's connected to this. We're going to do a meal packing event like we've done in the past. This time it's with an organization called IDES. It's the people we went to Florida with and did hurricane relief.
Great stuff.
So we're going to pack 25,000 meals with them, maybe 30,000 meals with them. And then they're going to go to either Brazil, Afghanistan, different A, Brazil, Afghanistan, or Mozambique. And we'll know it on the day we pack the meals where these meals are going to go, and so we're gonna pack those meals and send a gift of hope to people who are struggling. So that's kind of a step after that. That'll be January 10th. It's a Sunday, so it'll be right after services. We're going to do that, and then we've already started talking about, okay, if this works the way it sure is seemingly 4 days in, like, wow, this is pretty cool. Okay, maybe at Easter we do another 25 Days of Hope. Maybe sometime in the summer we do another 25 Days of Hope. Maybe we mix it up. Maybe we do some different stuff. Maybe it's not cash in the envelope. Maybe it's a gift card, or maybe it's something different, or we don't know what that's going to look like. But that's something that we're hoping maybe this will be a pattern for us here at Northwest. Is we're that church that gives people stuff, or like, I mean, I know that sounds really lame and weird, but I think about you think about like for a lot of people who aren't church people, they see the church as takers. But Christ is a giver. I mean, he came to give hope and life and love and forgiveness and grace and mercy. I mean, that's God's MO. And the church sometimes gets this bad rap for being in it just for people's money and to take and to monopolize time and energy and say all the things you can't do. But that's not a biblical thought process.
Very true.
And so this is a way to kind of communicate to people something different. And honestly, and I've seen this in my kids in the last 4 days, this was a big deal for them. This was encouraging for them. And they're like, Dad, can we do more? Yeah. And so hopefully this won't just be a one-time at Christmas event. Hopefully out of this, it'll begin to change hearts. And people go, man, there's that coworker of mine I could bring hope to on a Tuesday in February that isn't even connected to Northwest and some program we're doing. It's just, it becomes who we are. And that would be the ultimate win, I think.
Well, and I think like what you're talking about with churches have a bad rap sometimes about being takers. And by us being givers, it's not just financial, like you were talking about.
Right.
The thing that we're doing in January, where we're packing meals.
Right.
We're packing meals. We're going to give hope through that. So again, if you want to be a part of this, it doesn't mean you have to have money. It doesn't mean you have to have, special abilities. I mean, really, I mean, you can do whatever you need to do, but that the whole point of this is to get people to remember, especially in the 2020, what we've been going through so far, pretty much to get people to remember that there are still hurting people out there. There are people in need of hope. If anything, now more than ever. And with situations that kind of, I believe personally, kind of take our attention away from others and put it on ourselves. This is a great reminder to get people out there and to give hope. And
and I think too, again, I keep coming back to this, but getting people to listen to the Holy Spirit and to take a tangible step. Because again, we talk about it all the time. You hear those stories of, the Lord led me to X, Y, and Z. I know a lot of people who don't have those kind of stories because they've never taken a step.
It's true.
And so I'm hoping that this will be one of those things where there will be people who will go, man, that was really cool. Like,
oh yeah,
man, I've never, it's been a long time since I've I feel like I've heard God speak to me or show me something where I got that feeling thing or whatever, however it works for you, however you want to explain it. And they go, man, I want some more of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So all I had to do was pray and be ready, and God showed up. Wow. Okay. I can do that,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh,
And so
yeah.
that's kind of my hope in that. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
And so 25 Days of Hope, again, 25.dh.online. Sign up to be on the team if you're interested. If you're already on the team and you just want to know stories of what's going on so far and throughout this whole thing, go to 25dh.online. What was that website again?
25dh.online.
Yes,
Yes,
that's what
that
it
one.
is. That's
Yeah.
what it is. All right, so we've talked about that. We've talked about 25 Days of Hope, and we are so excited about that. But to move on,
Yeah.
we are in Christmas season, which is just like crazy to
Yeah.
me. But so I want to talk a little bit of the season we're in. First off, can you give us kind of a idea and plan and kind of the purpose of the Hope series
Yeah.
that we're doing on Sunday mornings?
Sure. Well, so yeah, I mean, it's the title of the series is Hope, and we're walking, basically just kind of walking through the upside and the downside kind of hope.
Yeah.
And this last week on Sunday, so a few days ago, if you watched or if you were here, it was different. It was a bit of a downer in some respects.
I thought it was great.
But there was a purpose behind that. It's
Yeah.
this, the idea of, if we don't realize that there's challenge and struggle and difficulty, then hope isn't really all that meaningful because we already have it, or we're just so oblivious to the hurt and the challenge that people have, or we just have been taught, shove it down because you're a Christian and are not allowed to think about it. Which man, that's a whole different.
That's a whole different story.
That's a whole podcast.
Yeah.
That's probably a series of podcasts.
I was about to say, I
Tim,
feel like
you
we
and
could,
me.
yeah,
I think
I feel like
we could
it's a whole
unpack that
different
one
thing.
a lot. But so that was kind of the start. Was that, hey man, sometimes you just got to hang on. That's all you can do, and it's okay to wrestle. And now this next week we're going to talk about waiting and how tough that is.
Yeah.
But what the purpose of waiting is and how we grow through that waiting.
Yeah.
So even if we're wrestling, if we hang on and we're willing to wait, then we begin to see God show up. And then we're going to talk about how God showed up in the birth of Christ. And we're going to talk about what that hope really means and how that really impacts us and changes us. And then it's kind of like this stair step thing that's going to lead to Christmas Eve service.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I'm very excited about it. If you can't tell, we kind of have a theme this year
What's
of hope.
Hope.
Of hope.
Hope.
Yes, and that's 20. Also, it's connected to 25 Days of Hope, which, if you didn't know, 25.th.online to sign up for that. But anyway, back to what we were talking
There's
about.
going to be an over-under on how many times we're going to say that next
I know.
week.
I feel like we should I feel like somebody should make bets, and all proceeds go to 25 Days of Hope. I'm
Moving
sorry.
on.
All right, we're going
move this
somewhere else.
train.
We're going out.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
we're going somewhere else. Okay. So awesome series. We're super excited about that. What events are we doing? What things are we doing during Christmas?
So obviously we have Christmas Eve services. We're going to do 3 services this year. 3:30, 5, and 7.
Yeah.
And all 3 are going to be identical. All 3 candlelight services. So it's going to be in our facility, and it's still going to be spaced out, social distance, but that'll be on Thursday, December 24th. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And again, those are candlelight services, so that's going to be super cool. And then we've got on December 12th. That's coming up really fast. I mean, that's in like a week.
That's next week.
Yeah,
Yes.
next Saturday.
Yes.
It's called Very Merry Christmas, and this is a family event. This is for everybody. It's not just for kids, but although it's being run by Jaron and our children's ministry, our family ministry, and it's gonna be kind of like a Christmas party.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. We're gonna inflatables. We're gonna have fire pits outside. It's all outside. Because of COVID, we can't really do much inside, but I think they're decorating cookies and I don't even know what all he's doing. And there's games, there's tons and tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Please pray, if everybody's watching, please pray that it does not rain.
Yes.
Because, we were supposed to do our food pantry grand opening on Sunday, but the weather pushed it. It's now going to be December 13th. I thought it was going to be this coming Sunday, but
it's even
our food pantry director is out of town.
Oh,
he has to go out of town this weekend, so it's kind of hard to do a grand opening of the food pantry without the food pantry director there. So it's going to be December 13th.
Wow.
So we've got that coming up, which I'm really excited about. That's going to be super cool to do the ribbon cutting on that. and it's just So it's a lot, and it's coming really fast.
Yeah.
It'll be Christmas before we know it.
Oh, I
It's
know.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Very Merry Christmas sounds like fun. I know
It's
what
gonna
we
be
did
awesome.
last year was a blast, and it
Yeah.
went way above what any of us expected.
Oh yeah.
If anything, is one of the best, if not the best, family event I've ever
Mhm.
seen in my time in ministry.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. So got that series, Christmas season, awesome. So next thing, who's the new guy on stage? Who's the new worship leader?
The new guy, Mark.
Yeah, and so now I know
Third Day
we've
Mark.
talked about
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it in the service and
Mhm.
things like that. But for people who maybe haven't heard yet,
Yeah.
who is that?
So I'll try to do this fast. So
Yes.
when COVID hit, your job changed a lot.
Yes.
All of our jobs changed. Everybody's job,
Yeah.
everybody's lives changed. It was crazy. And the whole shutdown thing. One of the things we discovered was that online needed to become a whole different thing, a whole nother level. We'd always had some online stuff. We had a website, and we would put our services online. I think we put the sermon. We posted it like Monday or Tuesday after church, so that people could watch it if they weren't there, if they wanted to go back, whatever. But then the live streaming and online services only, that option, it changed so much. And so in all that, we realized that, man, Tim's doing like 38 things, and no human being can do all 38 of them at a high level. And so we got to take some things off of Tim's plate so that Tim can keep doing all the other things that we need him to do.
Well, and also as a church that we can kind of take the next step in
that was
growing.
right. And that was part of the long-term plan.
Yeah, exactly.
COVID just
We just didn't
accelerated
expect it.
it.
Yeah. It was just a lot
And-
faster than we
and
expected.
so, the federal government had this payroll protection plan
Yeah.
thing, which was really, really cool for us. We applied, got that money. And so we had these funds that we couldn't use for anything other than payroll. And so we looked and said, man, well, maybe God's just putting everything together, this long range plan that he's accelerated the funds from the government of all places. And so, okay, wow, this is cool. So we said, all right, so what we're going to do, that next step is to free Tim up from the being locked on stage every Sunday so that he can float and do, the other 20 things that we need him to do. We need that upfront song leader is really what it started
Very
as.
true.
And so we put out a job posting, and we got this weird email when we were in Florida. We were in Florida in Pensacola from Mark Lee, who was the lead guitarist for Third Day.
Which we thought was a joke.
We totally
we thought somebody was really
catfishing us, some sort of scam.
I mean,
like no way,
Yeah.
no way. I remember talking about it. I was just like, dude, stalk him on Facebook because this can't be legit.
Yeah.
And turned out, it really was Mark from Third Day, and he said, hey, I'm looking for a place where I can use my gifts and talents now that Third Day is no longer together.
Yeah.
I'm feeling called to lead worship, and I'd love to talk to you guys about what that would mean. And so he came in, he checked us out, we checked him out. He led on a Sunday. He prayed about it, him and his wife and family, and we prayed about it. And then we said, yeah, okay. All right, God, I would never have in my wildest dreams thought I'd be, offering a job to the lead guitarist from Third Day, but we did. We did that at Starbucks. You and I did that together.
Yeah, of
it was
course.
pretty cool. And so now he is our worship leader on Sundays, and he'll be on stage most Sundays, but probably not every Sunday. He's still got travel responsibilities. He wrote a book, so he's on kind of a bit of a book tour, and there are times where you'll just want to be back up on stage, which is great. But he's our worship leader now.
Yeah.
And he's such a great guy, totally different than I would have expected.
Yeah.
He's one of the most humble people.
Yeah.
And I think that's the shock, the biggest shock, because you hear those stories about musicians and famous ones at that who are kind of divas,
Oh, yeah.
That is not Mark.
No.
He's just so down to earth. He's such a godly guy, and I love hanging out with him. He's so much fun, and he's doing a great job.
Oh, he is. I'm more than excited about it. I could not ever imagined or asked for anything better than that. So
we hired Third Day. Think about that. Like,
it's
so
weird.
Tim.
I
It's
can't
crazy.
even handle it. But anyway, okay. So that's awesome. I know we talked a little bit about 2021. Should we be excited as a church? I know there's, just like 2020, there are things you can never foresee and things like that. But
Yes.
as a church, as Northwest, should we be excited for 2021?
Oh man, I'm excited for 2021.
Yeah, me too.
And I know I say that every year. Like, I'm excited. This is gonna be our best year yet. But I really think 2021 has the potential, barring COVID pandemic level stuff. 2021, I get this sense from the Lord, and I think, and we've talked about this,
Yeah.
where it's gonna be spectacular. Some of the
Yeah.
things we've got planned, and I don't have time to go into detail, but some of the stuff that's coming in 2021, we talked about the meal packing. That's just the tip of the iceberg
Oh, I know.
of the stuff that we're doing, the seminars we've got planned, and the other events we're talking about doing, and some of the things. But beyond all that, just the focus for the year. It's the year. 2021 was it's going to be the year of refocus. 2020 was supposed to be the year of focus.
Yes. Yeah.
then-
If you didn't know, our first series in 2020 was Focus.
Right?
And so
And we got, what, 6 weeks into the – no, not even that long.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We launched that, and we said, okay, everybody, here's the things we're focusing on: time in the Word, time in a group, sharing your faith with one person. Okay, we're going to do that. We got 5 weeks in and then shut everything down.
Yeah.
Thanks, COVID.
So we're refocusing.
We're going
Yes.
to refocus, and we're going to focus on winning people to Christ, training people to be disciples,
Yes.
and sending people out on mission,
Love
both locally and globally. And so we've just got a bunch of really cool stuff, and you'll hear those words "win, train, send" a lot
Yeah.
in 2021, and it's going to be, man,
I'm excited
pumped. I'm
too.
stoked for it.
I think it's going to be great. All right, so we've gone through all of that, which is great. But what I wanted to do is take a second to end this with a few questions to get to know Jay, because hey, we know that in ministry, not many people get the chance to sit down and just talk and ask questions. So
Sure.
I found a few questions to
Dude.
give a little insight on you and your ministry and things like that. And so what I want to do is just ask you a few questions. So
Okay.
first one.
Okay, dude, you're, clearing your throat
All right,
on
here
me,
we
like
go.
you're making me all nervous now.
No,
like,
no, they're good.
Do you gonna turn up another spotlight
yeah.
on me?
Let's
Like, what's?
get it up.
Yeah, it's,
All right. So what's one thing you wish you had known when you began your ministry in being a pastor?
just one.
Yeah,
Just
just one. I know it's not the easiest,
Oh, dude,
but I think it's great. I think it'd be a good
Yeah,
thing to
you know-
for people to know.
man, there's so much. There was nothing quite prepares you, and I know this is true of any career field. It's true when you get married. It's true when you have kids. You know, all this kind of thing. Nothing really prepares you for what it's actually going to be like. But nothing really prepared me for ministry. Not really. I mean, I went to seminary, and I had all the classes and all that, and I did an internship. I did all those things, but it's different. And I think more than anything, the one thing, if I had to pick one, that I wish I had known, would just be the.
I know.
It's such a hard question. I probably how hard it was really going to be.
Mm.
I mean, honestly, like, and it's hard from an emotional perspective than anything else.
Yeah.
And in ways I can't really explain. Like, I work construction. I was an iron worker for a while. Like, I climbed metal buildings, and it was so much fun. I had these giant wrenches that I'd strap to myself, and I'd climb up the sides of the beams, and I'm bolting these things together. Like, I've worked hard in my life, physically in my life. I was a police officer, and that was hard. That was hard in a whole different way. But ministry takes an emotional toll in a way that I can't really explain. I mean, it's in its ways you can't, like, in weird little ways. And I wouldn't have done anything different, but I wish I had been more prepared for that going in, so that I could have prepped myself.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, when the first time it hits, when you're just like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
And why am I so tired? I didn't actually do that much today. It's weird.
Well, there's the emotional, the spiritual, and the actual physical work in all of this.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it comes in, to where it can be
yeah.
unbelievably difficult.
But I think also, too, on the flip side, there's a joy in it,
yeah.
and a positive and a blessing and an excitement that no other job really can provide, I don't think.
Yeah.
If
At
you're,
least not
if you're
that I
wired
know of.
for it,
Yeah.
if you're called to it.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Well, that's good to know. And going into that, okay, so we're talking about ministry, and you're talking about how it, you wish you would have had somebody kind of tell you how hard it was going to be, and that's what you wish you would have known at the beginning. Piggybacking off of that, what advice would you give someone wanting to be a pastor who feels the call of ministry? Because I know we have a few of those in our church,
totally.
Alone, but other people who maybe aren't a part of a church that are watching this. What is something you would tell them in pursuing that calling?
Make sure it's a calling.
Yeah.
Make sure you're called. And I had a
hard,
guy tell me this years and years ago, and I think it was some of the best advice. And I didn't listen back then because I was like 19 and I didn't care. I was chasing girls and playing Frisbee. I mean, that's all I wanted to do in my life. So he said, if you can do anything else with your life and be fulfilled, do that. Don't do ministry unless it's the only thing that you can do. If you can make a living doing anything else under the sun and be okay, then do that. Don't do ministry.
Wow.
It has to be a calling because it's hard.
Yeah.
And because there's a spiritual challenge that you just can't really articulate until you live it and do it. I mean, there's a reason the attrition rate is over 90% in the first 10 years.
Yeah.
And what that means is within the first 10 years of someone going into ministry, 90% of those people are out of ministry before that 10-year mark.
Oh, yeah.
So 90% of people who say, "Oh, I'm called to ministry," they don't do. I got most of my friends are selling insurance, or they're working in construction field, or some of them are teachers and other places. But most of the guys and gals that I graduated from seminary with, they started in ministry. They didn't last.
Yeah.
And so it's got to be that beyond a shadow of a doubt. When things get tough and Monday morning hits and you get the offering report and the attendance report and you get the emails, you go, okay, but I'm called.
Yeah.
And it has to be that or do something else.
Well, I know the first question that's going to come to the minds of people who are listening to this, especially if they're called, is going to be like, wait, am I called? Okay, wait, this is really hard.
Yeah,
am I called?
Yep.
What would be the first step because there are moments I know in ministry I've even had those moments.
Totally, me too.
To where it's like, am I?
I
really
tried to get out a couple of times.
Yeah, me too. And so I have that those moments of, am I really called?
Yeah.
Last thing on this, what would if you were in that situation, and when you're in that situation, what gets you out of it? What reminds you that you're called? I mean, I know obviously there's a spiritual side.
Yeah,
to that.
So I've got a unique story that I won't go into because I don't ever. I've shared it I think twice in my life outside of my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a unique story for myself that kind of defined that call for me. But I think for me, I go back to that. I go back to that.
When you were called,
when I first felt that, I have to circle back to that in my memory. But then I go to the Word as well.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time, especially on Mondays, in 1 Timothy.
Why Mondays, Jay?
Dude, that's a whole other podcast.
That's a whole
other.
We won't go into that.
But I spend a lot of time in First Timothy, 2 Timothy, sometimes Titus. Just reading some of that stuff. I'll read Hebrews, and just that whole Hall of Faith thing.
Oh yeah.
Especially the end part, right before where it talks about the people that were sawn in two and that were burned at the stake and all this sort of stuff, and the line at the end that just gets me every time. It's getting me now is, and the world was not worthy of them.
Yeah. That's
I go back to that a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's just that, that's why I say you gotta be called. You gotta know you're called because you gotta have that touch point, that touchstone where you can just go, okay, man, another person left.
Yeah.
Wow. Another family is moving and they were running this ministry and they were giving
and now
at a high level and now they're moving.
Yeah.
okay, how are we going to pay the bills next week? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because those are realities
Oh, yeah.
in life, you know, and I mean, it's just how it works. You got to have that thing that you can go back to
That reminds you.
that reminds you,
Yeah.
that you hold on to, because it just gets hard sometimes.
Yeah. And there's a reason. There's
Yeah.
a reason why
Totally.
God has put that in your life. Is
Yep.
for those moments.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
gotta have
you
it.
will question it.
Oh,
And so that is just
if you don't, I think
that would be
you're-
really weird.
Yeah,
I don't know who you
I've
are.
never met somebody in ministry who doesn't question at different points. Go, man, I should go sell insurance
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
I
totally.
agree. So, last one. What is the one common myth about being a pastor that you would like to debunk? I mean, I know the first thing that comes to my mind, but
Yeah. We don't just work on Sundays.
that's the first thing that came to my mind. That's great.
Like,
that is, yes.
most people have no idea because they show up and everything's done.
Yeah.
They have seriously.
Yeah.
I have so everybody knows this. Like, I have certain things that I do every Sunday morning that you'll never know about. There are certain things that I have to do because there's nobody else to do them at 5:30 in the morning before everybody shows up.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do them, you would know.
Yeah.
You would see it. Like, and you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I
We
know.
talk-
I
yeah,
know
we
what's
talk
going
about
on.
that.
Yeah.
But I that's the thing. Like, people, I think it's not, man, there's so much. Sunday is probably the smallest
Oh, yeah.
piece of what we do,
Yeah.
even though it's the piece that it's really the only piece anybody else sees.
Yeah.
But it really is the smallest piece.
And it just keeps going.
It
I
never
mean,
stops.
every Sunday happens.
It
and
never
so
stops.
it never
yeah.
stops.
The earth never stops revolving and rotating around the sun. And
Yeah.
so every week,
Exactly.
Sunday's coming.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I think that's great. I think it's great to get to know a little bit more about you, but also hopefully if somebody's watching who is in, wanting to go
Yeah.
into ministry and feels called, maybe this can help them a little bit.
Yeah, man, I hope so.
Um,
I'd love to if you're in that place.
Yes.
Like, seriously, like if you're in that place where you say maybe, or man, I'm in ministry and I'm struggling, shoot me an email.
Yeah.
I'd love to connect with you. One of my favorite things to do is to sit down with people and just talk to them about their story and try to invest in them in ways that nobody ever did for me.
Yeah.
Nobody helped
Oh,
me
yeah.
figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for God just kind of doing something cool in my life, I mean, I didn't have anybody to turn to and go, hey, I'm feeling called to ministry. What do I do? Like,
Yeah.
there was nobody there for me. And so shoot me an email. It's jay.rice. It's my name, j.rice@nwcc.net.
Yeah.
And let's talk.
Or you can send us a message on Facebook.
Yeah, totally.
So
yeah.
leave us something in the comments. We will get to you
Yeah.
because it is important.
I'd love to do that. I mean, I'd love to sit down and just, okay, well, help you clarify your call.
Yeah.
If that's what you're feeling.
And if you feel, I know this from past experiences, and last year we had an intern
yeah.
who was into this. We also, I mean, if it is a calling and we feel called to connect you with, here at Northwest to
100%.
ministry, we will help give you some guidance.
Yeah,
As
totally.
to where to go next.
Oh, yeah,
which
be
is
an intern
awesome.
for us. We
Yeah.
love that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
we-
please.
especially free ones. Well, those
Yes,
are my favorites.
yeah, they're the
Free
best.
interns are the
Yes.
best.
All right, one last question, and this is the hard one. This is the big one. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Wow, that is the most random. So wait, would I rather fight one horse-sized duck
duck,
or 100
duck-sized
duck-sized horses?
horses.
Oh, totally, the 100 duck-sized horses. Because ducks are freaky, man.
Yeah,
like
they
ducks
are
are
freaky.
scary. I
They
remember I
are
got
freaky.
bit by a duck when I was like 6, and I still have a closet
Bringing up some,
phobia.
yeah, we're
Dude,
bringing up some old wounds here.
You ain't kidding. Like, I still like my kids. Can we feed the ducks?
No.
Ducks will bite you. They're bad. Like, it's like, so yeah, no, a horse-sized duck, that'd be like the freakiest thing in the world.
Yes.
I think that would give people nightmares.
Yes,
That'd give
and
me,
it kind
may
of
give
freaks me out
thanks,
thinking
Tim.
about it. You're
Now I'm
welcome.
gonna have
Hey,
nightmares tonight about
if
a
I can
horse-sized
do one
duck.
thing here,
Yeah.
and that's yes. So to end this whole entire thing on a ridiculous note, that's obviously what
That's
we're doing here.
fantastic.
But anyway, everything that we've talked about. 25 Days of Hope, 25dh.online. Go there, join the team. If you're here for Christmas, we have a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Again, with the Very Merry Christmas family event
12th,
outside. It's on the 12th,
yeah.
starting at 5, I think
I
is what it
think
is.
so. 5.
It's going to be amazing. We can't wait. Next year is going to be amazing. There's just so much going on, and we are
Yeah.
just more than excited to be here and be doing this. So
Awesome.
awesome. We will see you next Wednesday, same time, 12:30. Thank you guys for being here, and yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday.
Awesome.
Wait, see you next Wednesday. See you next Wednesday. See you next
Should we-
Wednesday.
should we
It's not working. Yeah, can I think I need to.